I'm gonna go into another one I was just thinking about. Um, kind of just playing off of that idea of the last video when I was describing the relationship between time and money. Like the science of trying to sell to your independence has to do with a lot of facets in your life, and a lot of one of those things I kind of caught myself talking about was when you kind of have the time to just sit around and not really do anything. And like I said, with a lot of men, our problem, with that is that we tend to kind of worry about sex a lot. And I'm not gonna lie, that shit is hard, and it's hard really for all men to deal with, regardless of like what status of relationship you in, like regardless of like if you claiming that you this honest, able, noble guy, or even if you going around trying to even just not really indulge too much into your own desires. It's hard for everybody basically. But I noticed that's probably one of the main downfalls that most people have in this selling to your independence route. And even with myself, I mean, I'm even being challenged with that. At any moment I can have a child, or it could be something that could happen between me in my relationship to where that could literally derail me from being successful at what I want to do with this. Of course, these are things that every man is going to go through, and that's something that every man has to internally realize what they're trying to set themselves up for. And you go through life and go on and just deal with that thing as you should. But that's one of the main downfalls. And I notice a lot of guys around my age, man, these guys, like I said, they do not be in like good relationships. Like these guys, they be they be in positions where, even if they are having their little dreams and and all their aspirations, you still have to be able to take care of your responsibilities, on your own. And you can't really allow a woman to really like do those type of things for you. And with a lot of guys, during this route, like they'll allow some of these women to be, really be taking care of them until they get that ride into success. And if you do that, a lot of the times it's going to be a lot of key things that you should have really gotten, on surviving on your own, that allows you to build that platform the right way. And I'll give you an example. I'm just thinking, like, if most guys I know that's my age, these guys were in relationships, like they live with their other spouse, and they usually were going half and half on the rent. And, and they were working jobs, and, basically they were working together to build like their ideas and, whatever it is that they may be, doing on their own. But me personally, I mean, I'm in a relationship and everything like that right now. But at the same time, it's like a lot of the stuff I had already set up prior to the relationship is like what I needed to do. I'm realizing it's like a lot of stuff you have to go through as a man. You really have to go through on your own, like when it's no woman around. Because honestly, when women get around, like they could, they really, it's interesting because I had a mechanic tell me, when he was working on my car, he said, a guy in Chicago, he was saying like it was a gangster he knew in Chicago. Like he told him like the only way he knew, to get rich was to lose his bitch. And, and that's true to some degree. Like, some men could, come up like Jay-Z and Beyonce, where they did it, together and all that. And, it's going to be a lot of guys out here, honestly, that's going to have to go through that odyssey without no woman around. And honestly, I'm old enough now to where it's like, a lot of those key rituals and things that, I was supposed to go through at a younger age, I kind of already went through that. So it's not like I could just settle in and just say, oh, I'm just going to, go on ahead and be completely settled into a relationship. It's just, it's good, of course, to have a woman around because, women do help out with your ideas and, and they always are going to bring other things and facets that you're not really going to be thinking about as a guy. And that is one, good component to being in a relationship, while you try to do this independent thing. But, you can't ever lust for that relationship though. You can't lust for certain things where you feel like you got to control this woman everywhere she go, or you might even be lusting in the fact that, you might be doing something where you paying for some woman or something and she's draining your pockets. And now the hard earned money that you went out here and really killed to slave yourself for is really only you're being drained by this woman because of sex. And I just see a lot of guys, I'm not gonna lie. It used to be where years ago I saw a lot of guys like doing the tricking off thing, and a lot of that is still going on. But I'm not gonna lie, I'm seeing a lot of these guys now are really starting to reverse it, where they're living off of these women and kind of riding the titty wave, kind of sucking on the titty, and that's not really like the best way to go. And you got to be careful. Like you got to realize when you dealing with a woman during this time, y'all have to really work together if you really want to be successful at whatever it is you might be trying to do, whether it's something on YouTube, whether it's a business, or both. Like what I'm trying to do. If you're working with these women, like you really have to have that polarity together, or it's just going, it's not going to work well if some shit don't go right with whatever woman you dealing with during this journey. And I was just thinking about a lot of that stuff, but you have to really control that lust thing, because you could fuck around, have a child, that you might not be able to see, especially with all this damn corona shit going on. Like this probably the wrong time for a lot of niggas to be in a situation like that. So it's very, very critical that you during this journey as well, that you factor in that time and money have a relationship, but you also have to factor in too, that you also have sexual desires. That's one of the main things I learned. I heard from that guy. The hell is his name? Famous guy from the 20s that talked about like the structures and the famous way to be successful. And he had Napoleon Hill. Like that guy Napoleon Hill. Just basically like, I remember in one of the key things he talked about, he said, if you could control the your desires of love and lust, then you could become a millionaire. And I'm not gonna lie, I believe him, because that's literally one of the hardest things to control as a human being, especially for men. And that's one of the hardest things to control. So be careful of that. Houdini, once again, I'm bringing a lot of different facets into you sell into your independence and what to be aware of. And I'm out.